Welcome to Web Handling. My name is Dave Roysum. I am very excited to continue a new mini-series on ethics and efficacy in web handling. I have been into about 1,000 plants doing problem solving and would like to share with you a few more character traits for effective problem solving. Being able to adjust your balance on a moment-to-moment basis is quite important for effective problem solving. You can think of it like ballroom dancing. Depending on the particular place and a particular pattern, the dancer may have noticeably more weight over the left or the right foot. Rarely are dancers split weight. However, the very next step will be to put more weight on the other foot. Left weight, right weight, and so on, even if the feet never leave the floor, as some patterns such as the corte or rock step. Skateboarding and stand-up kayaking are similar, a continuous adjustment of your body's balance point. Problem solving is also similar. We must be able to span the range of weight mostly on one side to weight mostly on the other. We must be able to adjust quickly as the situation develops. Do not be able to adjust completely and quickly and appropriately risks a fall in many sports and a fail in problem solving. Confidence might seem like it would be a desirable trait. Indeed, it can be at the right time and place. The right time is later in the process, if and when the supporting evidence becomes compelling, while all honest attempts at disconfirmation fall short. However, confidence at the outset of problem solving probably does not make good sense at all. Instead, you should consider humility and listen to ideas and observations from others. It is very hard to learn anything while you are talking either out loud or in your head. As evidence is accumulated, you may find yourself more sure of one of the many hypotheses that team has considered. Now is the time to listen even more carefully to those who are not so convinced. Why aren't they convinced? Is it because they aren't thinking clearly? Or is it because they weigh the same evidence differently? If you are good, and if you are lucky enough to get a sufficient evidence that supports one hypothesis noticeably better than the others, it is time to commit. At this time, it may not be helpful to second-guess the conclusions. However, as I teach in my problem-solving classes, you should always consider a fallback. In fact, the Dunker diagram technique insists that you plan on failure all the while you're planning for success. Failure is not an uncommon outcome, and the sooner that you at least consider it, the less troublesome it can be. Right foot weight, but be ready to shift to the left foot weight if the circumstances change. Neither your left foot nor your right foot is more important than the other. You need both for good balance. Yes, just as you favor one hand, most commonly the right, you might also favor one foot. In dancing, most patterns start with the man's left foot forward and the woman's right foot back. However, the very next step would be on a different foot. In stand-up kayaking, the regular stance is left foot forward, while a right foot forward stance is actually called a goofy foot. Still, you must be comfortable with weight favoring either foot and be able to shift balance quickly if a wave hits. The idea of balance extends far beyond the confidence-humility range. Urgency is needed to get the job done quickly, while patience is needed to get the job done well. While teaching is an admirable trait if that is your inclination, good listening skills are vital for everyone. Many intellectuals dismiss intuition as somehow less than formal conscious reasoning. Yet intuition may be subconscious reasoning, or at least reasoning that may be difficult for someone to articulate. I use intuition to guide many of my early problem-solving actions, but then check myself at every step by formal testing and reasoning. Many in science dismiss art too quickly, yet it is art that makes science manifest in the most beautiful and meaningful way. How about the balance between planning and doing, or giving and taking? Perhaps the viewer may come up with many other points of balance. By now you have listened to more than a dozen points about balance. Thank you so much for staying with me. However, to get the most out of this clip, perhaps it is now time to do. First, know yourself. For example, I tend to lean towards confidence more than humility and lean towards teaching much more than learning. However, I am pretty centered in the talking-listening scale, or at least that's what I would like to think. These are probably a reflection of my job. I tend to plan a lot, but do many things in haste. As a specific example, I just noticed I put the wrong sequence number on the title slide of the previous 3 clips, though the page numbers were correctly updated. Small thing for sure, but the kind of mistakes that I tend to make every single waking hour. Second, observe yourself. This is different than knowing because it is in real time. Step outside of your head and see what you are saying and doing at a moment in time. Perhaps you can have a random silent timer trigger this poll. Is it consistent with what you know of yourself? Third, if you find yourself at one end of the scale, can you shift quickly to the other? For example, if your random snapshot poll shows you talking in a meeting, can you remain silent for the rest of the meeting? Fourth, repeat. By this, I mean go through the other traits one at a time. See where you are, move, and so on. Thank you so very much for watching this module in my Plant Practical video series. Stay tuned as we move on to more advanced web handling topics. Let me know if there's something that you especially want to hear about. Be sure to like and share. See you next time.